We are live. This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. If you need a roadmap at crypto, stay with Kaizen. Turn on alerts, pay attention in Discord so you know when we're going live. And if the content works for you, check out the feedback form in the description. Kaizen guys really like that, so take a look at that when you get a second. All right, let's welcome who's here. We have Joshua, good morning. Peter, Brandon, Horace, Huber's Ranch. Only news show you need. Appreciate that. We got a lot of news. We got a lot of charts. SG, the OG. Marvin, Malik, Arendon, a purple camel. Welcome. Brandon, Platano, down but not out. Love that. Daniel plays paintball. Valdodes, double X breakfast troll. Double X breakfast roll. Sorry. James Spencer, good morning. Good morning. All right. News. Let's go. A different kind of news today. So this is from my group. When I was at Goldman Sachs, I had a very fancy historical software. In other words, I could make queries of history using an English-based query language or a menu. For example, in simplest terms, if I wanted to know how Bitcoin was going to do in the second half of July, I could just tell the computer, start at the 16th of July and look out 15 days and tell me how Bitcoin does compared to July 16th and the end of July. Is it up or down? Simple, right? It's actually even simpler than that. So here is the list of all the dates going back to 2012. So as you can see, I'm just asking the computer, go back 12 years. Tell me what happened in the second half of July. Okay, as it turned out, if you look down here at the summary statistics, 75% of the time, Bitcoin is up in the second half of July. 9 out of 12 years. Now, most importantly, the average of the positive moves, right? So there's 9 rallies. The average is 20%, 18.7. The average of the 3 declines is 6%. So your historical risk to reward ratio is very favorable for the second half of July. Now, as a bit of spurious trivia, here in 2016, the market was down 6%. Okay, in 2017, the market turned around during this period and went up 50% in the second half of July. So if we had a decline in 2023 at the abyss of a bear market, what could go on here could be similar to 2017. Now, is Bitcoin going to go up 50% in 2 weeks? Probably not. Probably not. But you can have alt season. Like when I looked at this, I was like, oh no, it's all going to go. And here's why. So here are all the reasons why you would have alt season. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana are so strong and so sold out, they're not going down. They're just not. Okay, so it's like up, sit, up, sit. Then there's this realization that the entire altcoin universe has been absolutely destroyed, and you have the equivalent of a bottom that you have back in DeFi summer, and I can prove it with XRP work. We'll talk about that. Then there's just a very simple idea that crypto equities could be leading crypto. When you have tech stocks top, you have money running everywhere else. Small caps, the Dow Industrials, your grandpa's stocks, all that stuff is mooning. Crypto, the ETH ETF, the Bitcoin ETF, okay, are just making it so all these oversold altcoins basically have nowhere to go but up. Arrow is the classic example, right? We had to live with all this stuff crashing really before everything else crashed. And now it's turning around and going up. It's not just up, but it's up only because there are no sellers in the crypto market. Then there's also a more subtle idea that there are a lot of weird things going on in the world, and that the idea of crypto as a new form of money and Web3 is more compelling now than ever. And the new vice president said what we think is going to be the new vice president has said, we want the dollar lower. There's all this yip yap and everyone's covering the convention. He basically told you everything you need to know. We want the dollar lower. And I think when Trump is talking about putting Jamie Dimon in, which is really weird because he's a Bitcoin hater, Jamie Dimon may know how to get the dollar lower. Jamie Dimon also may be able to circle up Wall Street to figure out how anyone buys our debt. That's a separate issue. The new administration is going to want the dollar lower. Not just a little lower, but massively lower. Right? They want to put tariffs on other people's stuff, and they want to have our goods get cheaper so that if people put tariffs on them, they'll still be okay. So the dollar has to go down at least 25%. Right? I mean, the second half of this year could be one of the biggest moves in foreign exchange because they've told you what they want. So go back to the Bitcoin seasonals that I'm sharing here. You know, if you had a down year last year, you have a seasonally bullish period, and, you know, you got double-digit down moves in multiple places here. You had it in 2012, 2017, bear market 2018. You had a huge move in 2020. You had a huge move in 2021. We have a pro-crypto president, and they want the dollar lower. End of story. End of story. Okay, irrational exuberance then and now. Okay, this is about, you know, stocks. You know, here's your S&P 500. Crypto has to look like this, or stocks have to come down. Either way, I'm okay with it. This is what stocks looked like back when the Fed chairman said that things are getting a little ridiculous back pre-internet. If they can do this in stocks, they can do this in crypto. Now, the big man was in Bloomberg talking about, you know, essentially how he wants to do things. You know, he doesn't want to rock the boat with Powell. He just wants Powell to quietly go away. I guess that makes sense because the priority is going to be to get the dollar lower, right? He's going to leave Powell in his hot seat because he's going to make Powell admit that rates are too high. And he's going to let Powell cut rates and have the dollar fall, period. Okay. You know, they're going to do a trade war with China. I don't know how much sense that makes. I don't know if Jamie Dimon is going to continue to recommend that, but we will see. All right. Now, you have Solana whales have been making major Solana movements. Look, man, alt season kicks off. Solana goes to 200. Solana can go to 200 on an alt season, particularly if people are going to start hoovering this up in anticipation of an ETF. Now, XRP is moving. Okay, let's go to XRP for one brief moment to talk about what is going on here. First of all, XRP is up over 30% in the last 7 days. When XRP moves like this, okay, it's actually pretty rare. It's pretty rare. Okay. Now, when I use the historical software, again, to simply say, show me what happens when XRP is up, you know, more than 30% in 7 days, it'll give me a list of occurrences. And one of those occurrences happens to be the bottom of the DeFi crash back in 2020. So I just cut out a bunch of action from 2020. That's this blue line, the blue candles. Then the regular candles is XRP today. And essentially what I'm trying to tell you is you could have 48 hours in XRP before XRP goes vertical and goes way over $1. if history repeats itself. So where's this market going to be if Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana can't go down and XRP goes over $1? Now, it could be XRP that makes the crazy move. It could be ETH, or it just could be all these small altcoins. Arrow is telling you that. But where is this market if you wake up one day and because of something related to the SEC lawsuit, XRP has to burn a bunch of tokens and creates a supply shock? And I did a couple tweets on XRP the other day, and people are just like, meh. It's up 5% every day for a week. People are just like, I don't care. The whole world is asleep at the wheel here. The whole world in crypto. The whole crypto world is asleep. So these things matter. They matter. And, I spent 2 months going, get out of the way, get out of the way, get out of the way, get out of the way. Now I'm like, get back in, get back in, get back in, get back in before this thing just gets ridiculous. Again, Arrow is telling you what is about to happen. Okay, ETH ETF. So the most important thing to remember about the ETH ETF is this. Money is being moved around inside Legacy. They're moving from the Magnificent Seven really into anything they can get their hands on. Now, this is very typical when you have a bubble end. Bubbles don't always end in crashes. It may crash later, but in 2000, it took 6 months, really, to get some acceleration going on and, oh my God, trading stocks. In the meantime, 6 months in crypto is an eternity, particularly if crypto is a destination where money goes from tech stocks over into crypto. It's like out of this, into that. What's that? Well, the Dow Industrials, Russell 2000, and the Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. And I almost feel like, it sounds weird, but if Bitcoin and Ethereum really can't go down, everyone's like, yeah, we're going to fill the CME gap at 58,000 in Bitcoin. No, we're not. No, we're not. Because that's too tidy. Everybody wants it to go down so they can buy. Everybody wanted to go to 50 so they can buy. It's not happening. So if these things can't go down, right, because money is coming in from Legacy, then crypto is just free to take, major altcoins up. And it's happening everywhere. Here's another example, which we'll maybe go into on the charts. I saw a tweet that might explain what's going on in Zcash, my favorite privacy coin that it's hard to talk about because it does nothing but go down. It's gone from 18 to 30 because they may have some relationship with Filecoin about e-commerce, where Zcash is the money and Filecoin shares stores the data. Now, I don't know how true that is, but that coin's been up only. And I got signals in other coins that act as money in crypto, along with XRP, that would indicate like you have an asset allocation phenomenon, you have a monetary phenomenon going on, and you have a deeply oversold market. ETH ETF inflow will push ETH to 5K. Okay, that's great, right? This is now consensus. One of the things that people are missing about the ETH ETF is what happens when things like, the Dow Jones and the Russell 2000 small cap stocks, like not only is the ETH ETF going to benefit from people coming out of tech, but eventually the rallies in all the catch-up rallies in equities will get tired. So when the catch-up rallies in equities end, there's nowhere else to go but crypto. There's nowhere else to go. And you have the big man. Oh, I'm not sharing screen. You have the big man speaking at the end of the month. Okay. So this is 5K. I'm sorry. This is 5K Ethereum. But you get the idea. There is nowhere for all this money to go except crypto. Ethereum is rising in Google Trends, which means the general public, which, by the way, bought the Bitcoin ETF on the dip, is involved. The general public wants this. And I think, the general public is also looking at the events of last weekend, which cannot be talked about at all anywhere. The general public is looking at some sort of economic optimism, perhaps. And it's also looking at continued ongoing weirdness to oppose anything, I don't know, that's pro-business or pro-America, right? It's very clear that we do not know what happened last weekend, and we probably never will. It's like the Associated Press is feeding everyone a conspiracy theory, literally. Like, there's so much, it's what I would call is misdirection. Like, it's impossible to ascertain the facts, really. And even the facts that they give you are just unbelievable. They're unbelievable. So everyone looks at this and goes, wow, that's strange. Are they going to keep this up? Yeah, they are going to keep it up. And if they want the dollar lower, it's just going to accelerate the dollar lower. It is. Because if the administration wants it lower and the division in this country can't be healed, even if they're going to try, dollar lower. And when people start figuring out that Ethereum goes up when the dollar goes down, when they're all on the internet looking for it, you got to watch out. Okay. Crypto cards still in the industry. See, this is what I'm talking about. The media is now like, gee, is crypto still a thing? Is crypto still going up? Do people need crypto debit cards? Of course they do. Right. But the thing is, and I'm seeing this in YouTube statistics, I'm seeing this everywhere. People have not come back in. People have left, and they're not coming back in as of now. Right. This whole thing is bottoming. Everything's going up. Now, we're going crazy because, the altcoins that we follow are going nuts. But the rest of the market, the rest of the capital markets is sitting around like, nothing's happening. Something is definitely happening. So do you need a crypto card? Yes. Do you need a Coinbase account? Yes. Do you need to know how to use Phantom, Base? Yeah, all of it. Because people don't think they have to do anything. Bitcoin is in at some gaudy number. I don't think the general public is going to figure this out, until Bitcoin crosses 75 or ETH starts crossing an even number, like either 4 or 5K. So, people may be like, well, I can't buy it because it's up. Dude, it's not up. And even if it is up, like the real bid hasn't come in yet. So yeah, do you need a crypto card? Yeah. Do you need crypto everything? Yeah. Do you need it right now? Yeah. Yeah, like now, right? Okay, so Bitcoin hit 65, so the Mt. Gox rumors can stop the market for like a half hour, and XRP is going up, and no one owns XRP. Everyone gave up on it. Everyone's cynical. People who own it aren't buying more. A lot of people dumped it to buy Solana, basically at the top. If you have, Cardano has a bid. XRP has a bid. Nobody on YouTube is talking about these coins. Like, I'm not seeing XRP, like I hear some guys on Twitter talking about XRP $17, but I'm not seeing XRP everywhere. And they gave up on Cardano and Polkadot at the low. Seriously. Like, I think one of the big influencers gave up on Cardano and Polkadot at the low. And it's understandable. Like, I'm not dissing people because I've been through these bull market crashes before. Like, the thing in DeFi in 2020 was absolutely horrible. Like, we thought it was the return of the bear market. We thought it was over. Exactly what we thought here. It's just like, oh, it's over. It's done. It's, you're never going to have another altcoin rally. And now it's up only. It's up only because there's a permanent floor underneath Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay, after court update, Craig Wright admits that he's not Satoshi. How nice. How nice. All right. All right. So we're going to move on. We're going to move on into the charts quick. And a lot of this is pretty straightforward. Okay, the dollar's breaking down. These pink lines, this is the opposite of what's going on in crypto. Like, the dollar will break down And then Luxalgo will put in like a ceiling. So you broke down. You now have resistance at 104. I think the downside target is 102. All the economic data is terrible, and they've already told you that they want this down. So what more does anybody need to know about this? They want this down. XRP, historically speaking, just like the DeFi bottom. Just like the DeFi bottom, and if there's a supply shock here, there's a risk that this thing takes off for $1. And if you have a mega cap coin like this start moving, it's going to trigger alt season. Arrow. See how every time Arrow goes up, Luxalgo inserts these yellow floors underneath it because it's taking out all of this resistance. I mean, Arrow unwound a month-long give-up trade in essentially 10 days or less. Now, if the whole market starts acting like this, if the whole market acts like Arrow, where Arrow basically did almost like an 80% move, if everything starts to act like this, it's all going up. I mean, you had PopCap make a new high yesterday or 2 days ago, right? In other words, stuff that you like, that's quality, is coming back. Stuff that's highly speculative is making a new high. And they're going to go after everything. I mean, layer ones, all this stuff. Everyone forgot about all this stuff. Like, no one is talking about Web3. And Web3 is on sale. Cardano, no one wants to talk about it. Luxalgo is identifying this as a bottom, clearly. And every time Cardano goes, if Cardano takes out 45 cents, there's a wall of support underneath it on a 20-hour chart. Now, I'm not necessarily trying to sell you Cardano. I'm not trying to sell you anything because it's not investment advice. But the bottom line is everyone is sleeping while Cardano and XRP are going up. Can you imagine back in the heyday of BitBoy and Cardano and XRP, if you were seeing price action like this, the whole world would be on fire. And now no one cares. Now, that is a huge buy signal. That is hugely bullish. The fact that no one seems to care means that, can you imagine what's going to happen to price when they do care? Arkham, there's resistance at $1.80. I continue to believe that this is completely sold out. In other words, everybody who is going to sell this has sold it, and I don't see any reason why this can't go back to $1. I'm sorry, $2.80. Like, period. Just these Coinbase alts or the Kaizen alts, they're just rotating how they go up. The only thing that's holding this market back, right, is that the market can't go up all at once. And I think you also have to recognize that for whatever reason, perhaps to lower the dollar or cushion the treasury market or to avoid any type of disaster before the election, I'm starting to wonder if the Fed is already putting high-powered money into the system for whatever reason. Because a lot of times, you know, when all coins wake up, that's what's happened. The Fed puts high-powered money into the system. Zcash, up, Luxalgo puts a floor in. Up, Luxalgo puts a floor in. You get the idea. You start seeing this stuff where it's like up, sit, it's going up. ETH, distance to resistance, 3,800. Solana is breaking out above 160. Now, again, one thing you have to remember about Solana is that Solana traded in a range for like, I don't know, a month. It hasn't done anything. And when you have coins that trade in a range, you're winding up a spring. It's like physics. The tighter you wind up that spring, the more release you get when it happens. And all these markets are having support inserted underneath them as they rally. Seam is distance to resistance, right? In other words, how far does this have to go before it gets to a point like this give up trade has not been unwound yet? And money flow is starting to go positive, and you're starting to see that cross crypto. In other words, markets have a ways to go before they're like not oversold, and money is just now starting to come back in. And the dollar is telling you high-powered money may be in the system. And, that could be for a variety of reasons. It could be because they finally want to end this problem with the dollar and the yen. As a matter of fact, let's talk about that for just one quick second. All right, let me go through real-world assets first. So you have Mantra making a new high, and money flow hasn't gone green yet. Okay, this Mantra, Dusk, Ondo is just going to be Goldfinch. This whole sector could be up only. I mean, all it takes is a couple of BlackRock and Goldman announcements, and this is just completely off to the races. Total 3, altcoin market cap. Okay, there is resistance. It's got work to do, but if you look at the bigger picture, right, there was the top in March, and then there was A, B, C. It's called the zigzag if you look at it in a chart book. Altcoins are like tech stocks. And if the Fed has got high-powered money in the market, you could have, if you look at total 2, just total crypto market cap without Bitcoin, so it's primarily led by ETH, Solana, and XRP, you could add $250 billion to market cap by the time it gets from this now support area into an upside target. Huge amounts of money coming into the system. Okay, let's talk about the Fed and let's talk about high-powered money. There have been news headlines talking about how the Japanese have a problem and they have to sell large amounts of U.S. treasuries to plug catastrophic losses inside their banking system. In other words, there are banks all over the world, here included, that have got losses in assets that they own that they haven't sold yet, and now they have to start selling. And the Japanese have to sell, not because they want to, but because they have to. So follow me here on this. The Japanese have to sell bonds. They have to sell U.S. Treasury bonds. Well, are they going to do that in Donald Trump's face when he comes into office? No. Whatever they got to sell now. They don't want any bad optics. So if they got to dump our treasuries, they got to dump them now. Well, you might ask yourself, how are they going to dump all these treasuries without wrecking the market? Okay, well, the Japanese can't not wreck the market with the amount of bonds that they have to sell. So how do these bonds get sold? Well, they get sold to the Fed. The Fed puts high-powered money into the system, and either the Fed takes the bonds down or they put enough money in the system so that Wall Street can take the bonds down. Period. This is what triggered alt season in October. I mean, the Fed doesn't have a choice. I mean, if you have somebody that's going to wreck the U.S. Treasury market and inflation is coming down anyway because layoffs are happening, they're just going to pump money into the system because you cannot have a train wreck before an election. And if Powell is not going to be humiliated and is going to keep his job, most likely a deal has already been made. Art of the deal, right? Get money into the markets now. Don't have a debacle before the election. We're trying to get something together where people are optimistic, patriotic, whatever. They're not going to wreck the bond market. So as soon as this headline came out about Japan needing to sell bonds, altcoins went up because they got high-powered money in the system. They have to. Otherwise, there's no bid for the treasuries. Monique is in the house. Good morning. F. Morales is here. Cryptonomic, B, Miguel, Corey, VA Buds. Saw you commenting on my YouTube. I appreciate that. Chuck Taylor in the house. Welcome. Okay, I'm summing this up. Altcoins can go up more than you think. This is the inverse of what I've been talking about for 2 months. Was get out, save capital. Now it's like get back in. Get back into something. Well, okay, maybe you're like, well, I missed Arrow. Don't go with this I missed it mentality. Forget that. Absolutely forget that. Nothing has happened to Bitcoin, nothing has happened in Ethereum, and nothing has happened in Solana, and it's going to. The nature of Bitcoin may be as an anchor, And as Bitcoin rises gradually, altcoins could just keep going leaps and bounds. Leaps and bounds. Because if they got high-powered money in the system, right, if they do, then this is going to be like last year, where you get these like 1 to 2 week pop-up alt seasons, where everything just goes for 2 weeks, and then you have some kind of pause. So I think you err on the side of, dare I say it, FOMO, than sitting around doing nothing going, well, I'm going to buy the dip. You had the dip. It was a 2-month crash. This is a full turn, and I don't think anyone believes it, which makes me believe more that it's a full turn. Okay. We have Nastov here from Germany. Welcome. Okay. That's it for today. Get busy. We'll see you tomorrow.